Hello, this is my little tutorial on magnets, because I've been doing magnets on my orc army, my Tau army here, and I've not been doing it for my Chaos Space Marines, nor have I been doing it for my Imperial Knights. Not Imperial Knights, not Imperial, something Templars. So bad with names. Why don't I know the name of the own faction I own? Um, but anyways, I'm really indecisive when it comes to picking the weapons I want, because I want both. So I decided to buy some magnets. The ones I've been using specifically for these really tiny, oh jeez, as I knock over some heads. For these little tiny models, I've been using these little 3mm by 1mm magnets. I got them in a pack with some other ones that are 5mm by 2mm and 4mm by 2mm. I've used the bigger ones. I've used the 5 by 2 for, there we go, that's fine, for the big arm joints for the Tau, because I thought that it would help connect with the arms better. I also did it with this one, but I didn't do it with this one that's down here. I used the 3 by 1, and if you can see, it's somewhat posable. It like doesn't fully stay, but it's cool to like be able to move the gun around and act like it's a little transformer, even though it's just a little model. I also have the little missiles for it that I can connect. All of these are in works in progress, so they're not fully perfect or anything, but I can swap these out and replace them with those. I've been using clippers to break off the first missiles of these, and I did the first holes for these, and then I drilled little holes for them to make it look like they've fired. For the set of drills I use a little hand drill, but I use this one, which is a little poker, and then I go from that to my littlest drill. I don't know the sizes, I just know that it's a little bit bigger than this, the little poker, and enough to where it gets a good starting point. And then I have the medium millimeter. It would be better if I knew all the millimeters. I don't, but you can experiment with your own models, that is. And then I have the biggest one, which is the 3mm one. And I've been using this little hand drill I got off Amazon. It's a little cheap one. You can get an electric one, whatever. I find this one helpful because it's got this little spinny part where I can put it on the bottom of my hand, and it spins with it. So when I'm drilling, my hand doesn't get caught, and like, it's just a little functional little thing in there that helps drill things, especially when I have clammy hands, which happens all the time, especially during summers. I didn't do these models, even though they are the same poses. Um, I, I'm really thinking about breaking off the hands and then putting the magnets in, but I have been debating that. I did do, however, my orc boys. So I have, these are the two captains. I have one with this option, one with this option, mainly because I didn't want those to be interchangeable, because these are the only like differentiating markers that are on top saying like this is this one squad, this is the other squad. So I didn't really feel like I needed to change it because there was only the two options. But I can take the spears off and add little swords. And I also did this with my squig hoppers. So I have here, so I got two little goblins that I've already pre-built, and this is what I'm going to do my little tutorial on. So I have that one, and let me get the captain here. So you have the two options. So the squig hoppers, the box set comes with 10 units, so you can have 5 and 5, and I'm really picky, and I just don't like picking. I want it all. So what I've been doing is, if you see with, I gotta get it in the right angle. Come on, focus. Do you see that, like, glowing little bulb off the head? Those are like the little plastic bits that would go together with the bodies that have these little holes in them. My phone is not the best. It would be better if I had a camera, but I don't. And again, I'm in the process of moving, so there's no real point in buying a camera outright for right now. But what I can do is show you what I've been doing. So I'm gonna start off with this guy, because this guy seems like he's gonna be a little bit more difficult to do because he's flying through the air. But if you see the little head bit, this head bit is honestly pretty good to just put the magnet in. What you would just need to do is do a little bit of cleanup. So I'm gonna just take my 3mm, and I'm going to just do it really lightly and kind of get the little edges off. I'm going to do it to a good point where I find that the magnet would fit perfectly in there. Now, if you look there, it's more rounded. I don't know, my camera's not the best, so you can't really tell. Even then, you can't tell. Dang it. But, you get the point. You just drill until you get a nice circle hole that fits your magnet. I have to recommend using the 3x1 because they're just so tiny that I find that even with these little tiny goblins, they work. Like, I need to glue it, but I wanted to show you the kind of... Oh, lovely. It broke off the magnet because of how the other magnet flew at it. That's interesting. I've not had that happen before. But... Oh, this one doesn't work. Welp, let me get some glue and start gluing, because it looks like that's the only way I'm going to be able to show you this. because of how the magnet flew off and knocked the other magnet off. I've never seen that happen before. That was the magnet that I had on the head, so I already had some glue as residue on the side that I was using. So I will use that as my little marker there. And what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of glue to the head that I shaved off already, that little bump. And I'm going to add a little bit too much glue. I'm going to remove a little bit of it. Here we are. Let's, where did the magnet go? I just had it, there we are. I'm going to stick it to the extra body I have here, so I can get the side that I need on. Broke all my nails trying to do these magnets the other day, so I cannot get the magnets with my fingies anymore. Come on, little magnet, you can do it. You can get off. I know you can. You can be a good magnet. Come on. So close. There we are. That was a little bit frustrating, but it happens. Happens to the best of us. I'm going to use this head instead of the body. I find those are a lot easier to pull off because you can just slide it off. And when you slide it off, make sure that you get the polarizing right. And if you forget, you can always just put it back on and slide it onto your head or your body, whatever one you're using. I make sure that the magnet's right there in the middle. And because you chop off the little nub that's for the head, what it does is it makes it so there's not really like a neck, I guess you could say it is. So if there is a little bit of a neck, you could always drill a little hole in there if you want. I don't personally choose to do that, but I personally like the necks. I don't know why. I find that a goblin would have a little neck, and it being the magnet doesn't really matter. Gives it a little bit of character. I'm gonna let these magnets sit before I like try to connect them. Let me. So I got that guy. I have this guy here. So that guy's fully built. This guy, even with the little arms I was able to do, So I have 5. I have 5 more guys that I haven't cut off, and because I wanted to do this tutorial and I didn't want to have all my pieces kind of just everywhere. But you gotta make sure I have this cricket or circuit. I'm pretty sure it's cricket little blade. It's an exchangeable one, so I can replace the blades when I'm ready. But honestly, main takeaway from this tutorial, I know it's long, so I'm going to cut it off now, because I feel like I've gotten to the point of what you need to do. You need to make sure that the plastic's trimmed properly. You gotta make sure that you find the right millimeter magnets. You gotta find the right millimeter tool, or like tools, technically, because I have a multi-tool. And you have to make sure that you are not pushing too hard. Like, when I'm doing it, I'm pushing it against my hand, and I'm pushing it with the bottom of my hand, but also holding it with this. So like, it gives it a little bit of pressure, but I'm not jamming it in there, because you never want to, like, I've had it where I've had little tiny drills break in the plastic when I was trying to drill the barrels for my Templars that are down there. And I've also had it where when I was trying to start it with another starter instead of this little poker, it broke off while I was trying to drill a hole in it. So make sure that if you buy a multi-tool, you're using the right millimeter and right tool and right depth for your models, and make sure that your models have the room and space for drill holes, because, I mean, even with these goblins, you'd think that has no way that you can put magnets in there, but surprisingly you can. You just gotta find the right millimeter, which, again, 3 times 1 I have found to be really, really, really good. So check out these magnets. I mean, you can just look up magnets for miniatures on Amazon or eBay or something and probably find what you're looking for. I did go to a craft store recently. I didn't find any of these, but you could always look at your local craft store too and see if you find stuff. And I hope this was a little bit helpful. I mean, it probably wasn't. But anyways, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and have a good rest of your day. Keep modeling.